Well, hello. Today I'm going to talk about how to make some difficult decisions. Of course, in life, we're always faced with difficult decisions. Unfortunately, not often. Most of the time, we just go through life, do the same old thing. But sometimes there's a big question. Should I change my job? Should I get married? Should I have children? Should I buy a house? There are important questions, and you have to make decisions. And yeah, if you make one decision, it opens one door and closes another behind you. So it can be difficult to make decisions. So, how do we make difficult decisions? Well, there are different ways. Here are 5 suggestions. See if this makes sense to you. Right. Okay. Number one, before deciding, ask yourself, what would the 85-year-old me want me to do now? Then do that. So imagine you are 85 years old. What would the 85-year-old you say was a good thing to do? So, yeah, would an 85-year-old say, yes, you should do this? Or no, don't do that, it's dangerous? Something to think about. Okay, that's a good one. Number two, think of the worst case scenario, the worst possible problem. What's the worst thing that could happen if you take this action? Sorry, if you took that action, would you be able to recover from it? So think of the worst case possibility and what would happen. And is that so bad? Would that be the end of your life, or would you be okay? Okay, well, kind of closely related to that is number three. If you think you could survive the worst possible outcome, take the risk, because there are always unexpected bonuses to taking a brave decision. Yeah, if you think that if the worst comes to worst, uh, but I would be okay with that, then do it, because probably life won't be the worst that you imagine. There's an expression here: fortune favors the brave. Uh, if you are brave and you do something, probably you'll be lucky. Not always, but probably. So this is, depends what the situation is, of course, but interesting. Okay. Number four, imagine a terrible result. Something terrible happens. What choices would probably end in a terrible result? How did you get to that terrible result? Imagine something terrible. Well, what would happen? How did I get there? Well, then just take the opposite choices. Hey, what? For example, imagine, oh, in my worst nightmare, I would lose my house and have nowhere to live. Well, how would I? How would that happen? Well, probably because I quit my job and didn't find a new job, and I don't know. Well, okay. Well, therefore, don't quit your job, or find a new job before quitting your job. You know, so you think of the worst possible situation and think of ways that you would avoid that. Okay. Now, number five is a bit complicated, but actually it's quite clever. Make a weighted list. What? Imagine you have to decide that this is an example. Imagine you have to decide whether to live in Tokyo or Abiko, and you can't decide between them. Well, list the number of okay, hold on. List the important factors in order. For example, the price of apartments, how close to schools or a train station. Then for each factor, assign a number from 1 to 10. Then decide a figure of 1 to 10 for each city, rates, and blah, blah, blah. What? It's difficult to explain, isn't it? Multiply the factors by the number of score you get. What? Let me show you. I've already done this one here. Now look, imagine you have to choose between Tokyo and Abiko, and you can't decide, should I live in Tokyo, should I live in Abiko? Well, over here are the important factors. For example, cost of living. Is it close to my workplace? Are there good schools? Is there good nightlife? Right? This is for me. It's like these are important. But cost of living is the most important to me, so I'm going to give that 10. Close to my workplace, that's quite important. I give that a 7. Are there good schools? That's important for my children. I give a 5. Is there good nightlife, good bars and things? So important. I'll put a 1. Okay, and then I'm going to rate each place and how good they are. Tokyo, cost of living, well, it's sort of like 5 out of 10. I'm going to give it a 5. Is it close to my workplace? Tokyo is so close to Abiko. I'll give it 5. Are they good schools? Yes, 10 out of 10. There are very good schools in Tokyo. Good nightlife? Yes, of course. Tokyo has the best in Japan, 10. And then I times it out. So 5 times 10 is 50. 5 times 7 is 35. 10 times 5 is 50. 10 times 1 is, add it all up, it makes 145. That's my weighted score for Tokyo. I do the same for Abiko. Well, cost of living, it's really good in Abiko compared to Tokyo. I give it 10. Close to my workplace, yes, it's very close, 10. And good schools, so-so, 5. Good nightlife, so-so. But as you can see, nightlife is not important to me. So the total score is only 5. 5 times 1 is 5. Good schools, 5 times 5, 25. Whew. Anyway, I've made a weighted score. And if you add it all up, it comes to 180. So on this score, Abiko is better than Tokyo for me. Now, you might have different ways of working out. But I hope this is somehow clear. You're weighting the measurements. You're saying, some are heavier and more important than others. Some are less important. And that's a way of working out a difficult decision that's very close. Helps you think about it anyway, even if you don't stick to the solution. Okay, so 5 possible ways of approaching difficult decisions. Okay, so questions. Number 1, what difficult decisions have you made in your life? What was difficult for you? Number 2, how did you decide? And number 3, which of these methods would work best for you? I'm not sure I explained number 5 so well, but it's a bit complicated, but maybe you can see. Okay, well, have a look, have a think, and tell me what you think when I talk to you next. Okay, bye-bye.